Configuring local storage. Configuring local storage in Server 2016. Managing disk in Windows Server. So we have to follow the procedure is like this. Selecting the partition table, selecting the disk type, selecting a file system, implementing ReFS, configuring ReFS, and then using VHD also. Now first, selecting the partition type. Now when it comes to selecting the partition type or partition table format, we have two options. We have MBR and we have GPT. And we have a difference between these MBR and GPT. Basically, MBR is an old partitioning style or partitioning format table, and GPT is the new one. So MBR was designed, and it was designed like for the old ones. Like at that time, we don't have the big size of hard disk, and we don't need the big files to be created. So it was created according to that style. So MBR it is a standard partition table format since 1980s. It is since 1980s, and it supports maximum of 4 primary partition per drive. That means in a drive we can only create maximum of 4 primary drives. Then can partition a disk up to 2 TB. That means if we have a disk which is the size of the disk is more than 2 TB, then it will not be available in we cannot use MBR. So when it was created or when it was developed, 2 TB hard disk was too much for them. Like on that time the hard disk size was only 1 GB, 10 GB, 20 GB, like that. And in that time 2 TB was too much. So they have this MBR was only designed for maximum up to 2 TB. But nowadays what we have more than 2 TB size. Like we have a hard disk nowadays which is more than 2 TB. Like we have 4 TB hard disk also available in the market. Now because of that, we are not able to use this MBR partitioning style or partitioning table into those hard disks. And also it has a problem of only 4 primary partitions. 4 primary partition, that means if we want to create a partition more than 4 partitions, then we have to use the extended partitions. In MBR we have extended partition option where we can create a logical drives inside the extended partition. But all together we can only 4 partitions. Now for all those reasons, now we have GPT partitioning style. Now in GPT is the successor of MBR partition table format. It supports a maximum of up to 128 partitions per drive and all primary partitions. We don't have any extended partition here in this GPT because it does not need, because we can create 128 partitions directly, primary partitions. In MBR we have only option to create 4 partitions, include all the 4 we can create primary, or if we want more than 4 then we create extended partition in that, and then we create logical drive inside the extended partition. But here we don't need it because we have directly 128 options. We have 128 primary partitions here. Then GPT can partition a disk up to 18 hexabytes. Now hexabyte is too much for us right now because we don't have a size of 18 hexabyte size hard disk here right now. But maybe in future we will get the hard disk more than this also. But for now we don't have it. So hexabyte is too much for us. So MBR uses the smaller than 2 TB and GPT uses the larger than 2 TB hard disk. So whatever the larger than 2 TB hard disk we have, we can use GPT. But in GPT we have a problem here that GPT partitions, we don't have bootable partitions. That means if we want to install our operating system in GPT partitioning style, it is not available for all the operating systems. Not all the operating system, that means we can use GPT partitioning style for installing Windows 10, and for installing Windows 10 only when it is 64-bit operating system. It is available only for 64-bit. For 32-bit, it will always go for MBR. So if we are having Windows 10 and if we are using Windows 10 64-bit, then we can install it on GPT partitioning style. Otherwise, we have to install it on MBR. Even Windows 8 is also not installed in GPT. It only installed on MBR. In Windows Server 2016 can support this GPT. And one more thing we have to make sure, if your hard disk, if your motherboard, if your BIOS support the UEFI boot. So if only the UEFI boot is supported with the 64-bit operating system of Windows 10 or Server 2016, then only it can support GPT. It will support GPT for Windows 10. Otherwise, other operating systems will not support it. All the other operating systems will be installed on MBR. So that is only the problem here with the GPT. GPT is nowadays GPT is mostly used for the data disk, where we can put the data, not an operating system. Then selecting a disk type. So in Windows we have these different disk types, like basic disk, dynamic disk. Now basic disk means disk initialized for basic storage. It is for the basic storage. That means normal partitions we create. And the default storage for the Windows operating system. And this is the default one. Like whenever we create a partition, it will be always be the, whenever we use a hard disk, it will always be on basic. It will always remain on basic. Now we have dynamic disk also. Dynamic disk will be modified without restarting the Windows system. That means we can convert by default basic disk. Now by default it is basic, so we can convert it to dynamic, and we can convert it into dynamic without restarting our system. It can easily be converted, but it cannot go reverse. That means if we want to reconvert, from dynamic to basic, it will not be, it will not allow. It is not allowed. We have to remove all the partitions from that disk. Only then we can make it basic. Or basically when you remove all the partitions of the hard disk, it will automatically become basic. But when you are having a basic disk with partitions, when we are having a partitions there, we don't have to delete any partition. We can directly convert the disk into dynamic disk. Now provide several options for configuring volumes. Now it will provide several options of configuring volumes. Like we can configure different type of volumes in this dynamic disk. Volumes, we can say partitions. We can create span volume, we can create mirror volume, we can create strip volume, red 5 volume. So we can create different type of volumes with this dynamic disk. So we can convert basic to dynamic, but basic to dynamic to basic, it is not possible. We have to remove all the partitions. Removing all the partition, that means you will delete the data. One more thing, if suppose the operating system is installed in the disk, if it is already installed on the disk and you convert the disk into dynamic disk, then it will work easily. It will not give any problem to you. But if you try to install any operating system on that dynamic disk, that means you want to reinstall your operating system, then you cannot do that. You have to convert it into basic. So when it is already installed operating system, so it will work without any problem. But if you want to install any operating system in the dynamic disk, it is not possible. It will give you error and it will say convert back to basic. And for converting it back to basic, you have to remove all the partitions. For example, you have C and D drive. C drive is for your operating system and D drive is for your data. Now you have installed this operating system on C drive and you put all your data into the D drive. Now what happens when you convert it into dynamic? It will still work. But suppose you want to reinstall the operating system because your operating system is corrupted. So operating system is under the C drive and your data is under D drive. Now you just want to reformat the C drive and reinstall the operating system. Now you can't do this because it is a dynamic disk, so it will say what? It will say you have to remove all the partitions, and you have to remove not only C drive, you have to remove D drive also, and it is a chances of what? Losing the data. So when you convert it into dynamic, you have to be careful that what it is supporting or not. So under that dynamic, we can create the disk volume. Disk volume requirements is what is the disk volume requirements? It is a system volume for hardware specific files that are required to start the server. So disk volumes are like the partitions. So a boot volume for the Windows operating system files. So we need a volume, or we need a partition to have an operating system, and also we have to have a volume or partition for hardware specific file, that is, we can say boot files. So when we install the operating system, what we get these two type of partitions, or we can say volumes by default. One for the operating system and one for the hardware specific bootable files. So when we install the operating system, by default it creates these disk volumes. Now after creating the partition or creating the volume, we have to select the partition file system. We have to select the proper file system now. Now what is the file system? So file system is basically a small software which provides the way of storing and retrieving the data. So how the data is going to be stored on your storage device and how it is going to be retrieved from the storage device. This thing is decided by the file system. And we have different file systems available. In old days, everyone was using FAT file system. Then we have NTFS. Windows start using NTFS, and others are using other file systems. Other file system, for example, in Linux system, they were start using ext file system, ext, XFS, B3FS. These are different file system for different operating systems. Now Windows is using what? NTFS here. So Windows is using NTFS, and also now Windows is introducing this ReFS. So we have three options for Windows. We have FAT, we have NTFS, and also we have ReFS. And this is a small difference we have in between these three partitions. First, like in FAT is a basic file system. Partition size limitations it is having. FAT32 to enable the larger disk, and in Windows we have exFAT that is developed for flash drives. So in Windows also we can use this exFAT to partitions. But FAT file system is a basic file system. It's an old file system, we can say. It has a limitations of size, like what are the size of the partition we can create, what is the hard disk size it can create, what is the size of the file we can create, maximum file size or maximum partition size. So it is having the limiter there. Then we have NTFS. Now in NTFS, this is the default partitions for default file system for Windows. So when we install any Windows operating system, so it will by default create NTFS file system. Now this NTFS file system gives more options than FAT. It will give option to create more size of the partitions and also allow us to create or store more size of the file. That means a big size of the file. For example, in the FAT file system, if you try to create a single file which is more than 4 GB, it is not allowed here. So if you want to create a file or store a file which is more than 4 GB, it is not supported here. But we can do it here in NTFS. Then in NTFS we have other options, like we have security options, we have encryption, we have encryptions, we have security, we have compression, we have metadata option, we have auditing and journaling option. So these options are available in NTFS, which is more than the FAT file system. In FAT file system, we don't have security option. We cannot do assign the permissions. We cannot use encryption also. We cannot use compression. We cannot compress files. All those things are available in NTFS. Now, Windows is introducing new file system, that is ReFS. This ReFS is having some features, but it is backward compatibility to support NTFS also. Then it has enhanced data verification and error correction. Then it support for larger files, directories and volumes, larger than NTFS also. NTFS is also having some limit, but this one can go more than NTFS. But still this ReFS is not having some of the options which is available in NTFS. Some of the options are still not there, like for example the compression encryption option is not there, and even a security option, it is also not there in ReFS. Basically this ReFS is created right now for, it is under development we can say, and it is just for using the data, for the data files or data partitions. What is the implementing implementing ReFS? So ReFS has a number of advantage over NTFS. What are those advantages? First, metadata integrity with checksum. This is for error detection, error correction, to error correct the data. So it uses the metadata integrity with the checksum, so that the data will not get corrupted. Then integrity streams with user data integrity. It is also for security, to manage the integrity of the data. Integrity of the data, that means suppose a file which is looking like a notepad file or text file, but it is doing a job of some other file. Like it is looking like a .txt file, but it is doing a job of .exe file. It is doing a job of executable file. That means it is losing the integrity. It happens when the viruses infect the files. So when viruses infect the files, so it loses the integrity. The file loses the integrity, and it will not do what it wants to or what it meant to do, and it will do something else. So this one do what? In ReFS we have integrity streams with user data integrity. So it manages the integrity of data also. It allocates allocation on write transactional model. So it allocate the on write transactional model. Then large volume file and directory size it supports. Like for example 2 raised to 78 bytes with 16 KB cluster size it supports. Then storage pooling and virtualization is also available. Data stripping for performance and redundancy. Then data scrubbing for protection against latent disk errors. Then resiliency to corruption with recovery, and shared storage pools across machines. So it supports these advanced features, like it supports the pooling option. It can do what the virtualization of these spaces storages, and it uses the stripping for redundancy, like it uses the stripping technology for writing the data into multiple disks. It uses the scrubbing for protection against the disk errors, and also resiliency for to corruption with recovery also. And also it creates the shared storage across the different machines. Now how we can configure this, and how we can create these partitions, and how we can use these file systems. Let's check that. Okay, this is our server operating system. Now here, if we want to create a partition or manage a partition, so we have an option for the disk management. We have a disk management console, we have a disk management tool where we can use to configure and manage the partitions. So for that we can go to tools, here, and we'll go to this computer management. And under the computer management, we have this disk management console available here, where we can see the disk partitions and we can configure the partitions. Now if we want to just, in this computer management we have other tools also, but if we want only the disk management, then we can do what? We can go for search and we can type disk mgmt.msc, and you will get this disk management console, and you get this separate console only for disk management. Now from here we can manage whatever we want to manage. We want to manage this disk, we can manage it. Now what it is showing here, it is showing that there is a disk 0 available here. So there is only one disk we have. The size of the disk is 1G 100 GB, and it is a basic disk, and it is online. And our operating system is also installed in this disk. And now what partitions we have here in this disk? So we can see it is showing 3 partitions here, 1, 2 and 3. But when we go to the computer and we try to see how many partitions we have or how many volumes we have in this PC, so it shows only one here. Only it is showing one C drive. Why it is showing only one? Because these 2 partitions are for system partitions. It is for the boot files, bootable files, and also it is for the system recovery files. So the recovery environment is also there. It is having this as a recovery environment, and this one is having the bootable files. That is hardware specific files for booting the operating system. So these 2 partitions are not showing there. Why? Because it is not having a drive letter. If you see this only drive we have, this only drive and partition has a drive letter C. So only this is showing there, and these 2 partitions are not showing there. Now this one is a CD drive, CD DVD drive, and it has a DVD available inserted into it. So it is a different thing. This one is the hard disk we have. So right now what we have here is a disk 0, which is by default a basic disk. So whenever we have a disk, it always be on the basic disk. We can convert this basic disk into dynamic, but remember, if your operating system is installed into this disk, like this one is already installed here, so it will convert and it will work properly. But if I try to reinstall the operating system, it will not allow me to reinstall. It will say that you have to remove all the partition, only then you can install the operating system, because it is installed, this operating system, in MBR. It is not a GPT. It is not a GPT, and also it is not a dynamic. So always in a basic disk it will install the operating system. Now it is already used. There is no space remaining here for us to create a new partition or any new partition here. And if I want to create a partition, there is no free space available. You can see this option says about the free space. So if you have a free space here, then it shows like this color, and this color is for the primary partition. So right now we can see all the partitions are primary partition. There is no free space available. Now in this case, what we have to do, we have to add a new hard disk here to get a new space. But in this new operating system, like from Windows 7, Windows 8, and this Windows Server 2008, Windows Server 2012, and this Windows Server 2016, what we can do, actually we can shrink the existing partition to get some free spaces. Previously it was not available, but now we have an option to shrink the existing partitions. So for example, I want some space separate from this C drive. It is having almost 100 GB. So I can right click and I can select shrink. And what it will do, it will shrink the partition and get me some space, whatever I need. So basically it is showing here that total space is this, and this is available space we can shrink, and if we shrink all the available spaces, then this space will remain for this C drive. So here we have to decide how many space we want to shrink. So let's say I want to shrink 20 GB. So after shrinking it to 20 GB, this 80 GB will be remaining. So I say yes. And now we can see the unallocated space, and here we can create now new partition. So for creating the new simple volume, we can right click and we have this option to create the simple volume. Now remember, under the basic disk we can only create this simple volume. These other advanced volumes we can only create in dynamic volume, or when we try to create these volumes, it will automatically convert the disk into dynamic. I will create simple volume. This wizard opens. Now here when you go next, you have option to select like what will be the size you want. This is 20 GB total. Minimum you can go for 8 MB, but you can go maximum up to the whole space, or you want to have you want to divide it. Like for example, I want to use only 10 GB from it. Now here it is going to assign the drive letter. Now if you don't want to assign the drive letter, then you can say no, I don't want to assign the drive letter. And when you don't assign the drive letter, it will like this partition and it will not show up here. It will not show up in the computer, but later after that also you can assign the drive letter. We have one more option here. Instead of assigning the drive letter, we can assign a directory here. That means we can select this option and mount this partition on a specific directory, on a specific folder. We can browse it and we can select one folder, and that folder will this partition will be mounted on that folder. Now after mounting it, it will not show here under this PC. It will only show on that partition, on that folder. For example, I mounted on this folder. So then what? It will mount on this folder. So this folder will still be under the C drive, but when we add any data in this folder, it will store the data into that partition which we mounted on this folder. So that is also an option we have, but I'm going to use a drive letter here. We can use, or we can choose drive letter also. Then we go next. Now here we can select the file system. So here we have to decide which file system we want, and in Server 2016 we have these three options. By default you can see it was selected NTFS. Now if you want, then you can select FAT, or if you want, then you can select ReFS. I will select NTFS here. Then allocate the unit size. So smallest chunk of your size, chunk of your data partition. It is default, so automatically it will select. Then name for your volume. Now name for your volume, that means whatever the name you will give here, it will show up here under this PC. For example, this C drive is having local disk. So now when we create this new partition, it will get the name of new volume. So if you want, then you can give any other name. And then this is for the quick format. So it will format quickly this partition, or if you remove this, then it will take a time and it will format in detail. Then this option is to enable the compression. Now compression is not available in what? A FAT file system. If I see here, if I select FAT, you see the compression option is not showing. And if I select ReFS, again the compression option is not available. It is only available under NTFS. And we can do the quick format so that it will quickly format the disk. Next, and finish. Now it has created the new volume with drive letter E and the size of 10 GB and with the file system of NTFS. So we can see this is NTFS. Now if we want to create the ReFS file system, so we have this remaining space available. We can right click, new volume, same way, next, size, next, drive letter, next, and here instead of NTFS we can select ReFS. And this one is the ReFS. So this is NTFS file system, and this is what ReFS file system. Now if you want to see what are the difference between these two, so we can go to PowerShell and run the command for that. I will run PowerShell, right click, and I will run as administrator. And here we can run the command. Command is fs util fs info you want to see, and the volume info, and then we will mention the drive letter. For example, I want to see E drive. Something went wrong. What is it saying? Okay, spelling mistake there. There is no two L's. There is only one L here, FSUT. And then FS info, volume info, and I want to see about E drive. So now it is showing the information about the E drive, and it is saying that the E drive is what? NTFS. And the other information like is read writable, support the case sensitive file system, preserve the case of file name, support Unicode, preserve the info and enforce the ACLs. Then file based compression is there, disk quota also available, sparse files, reverse point, object identifiers, encryption. We have encrypted file system available, named streams, transaction, hard links, extended attributes also there, open by file ID, and support the USN general. Now the next one which we created here is the F drive, and F drive is ReFS. So let us check the ReFS detail, and that is F drive. Now F drive is the ReFS file system. It is using ReFS file system. Now this thing is same as NTFS. This is also same. Case sensitive file names also same. Case of files names also same. Unicode, enforce ACLs also there. Spare files, reverse points, name streams, open by file ID, USN general is there. Now integrity stream is there, which is not available under this NTFS. If you see in NTFS, there is no option available to integrity streams. Block cloning is also not available. This is a new feature available in this. Spare VLD, virtual disk, and file hosting also available here. But these options are not available in NTFS. But also in ReFS, there is no option available for this encryption. There is no option available for doing the compression. File based compression is also not available. Not available encryption, not available compression, and also there is no quota options. So these are some options which is not available here in ReFS, and there are some new options available in ReFS which is not available in NTFS. So because of these options, still Windows uses the default file system as a NTFS. So when it installs the operating system or when we create any partition, so by default it uses the NTFS. It is not using ReFS as a default file system. But maybe in future they will completely transfer from NTFS to ReFS. So this is the two type of volumes we can create here, ReFS file system or NTFS file system. Now this is what I did here in this same hard disk by shrinking the volumes. Now what I can do, I can delete the volume, these volumes which I created. Now if you have available space and you want to extend your current partition, then also you can do that by doing extending. You have option to extend the volumes. So right now what we have the shrink option and extend option available in Windows. So this is the only disk I have available, 20 GB size. So if I select the whole 20 GB to extend, so it will extend the 20 GB and it will total become 100 GB. Or if suppose you don't want to use the whole space, so we can use whatever the space we want, or whatever the space, or we can use the whole space. And now this C drive is back to 100 GB. Now this partition, this hard disk is basic disk, and also this is MBR. Now if we want to convert it into dynamic disk, so we can convert it, and we can convert it without losing the data. But remember, it will not get back, it will not be reverse. So I will not convert this system drive because my operating system is installed there. So I will do what, I will show you this in a new disk. So I will add new disk here, and then what, I will show you that how we can convert it into basic to dynamic, and also what we have in MBR and GPT. So I have added the disk here, and now we can see here what, disk 1. Right now it is offline, it is unknown because nothing has been decided here. This is the fresh disk, no configuration, nothing configured here. No MBR, no GPT, no basic, no dynamic, nothing. Now first what I will do, I will right click here and I will make it online first. Now when I make this online, now it is saying what, not initialize. Now not initialize means what? Now it is not decided that we wanted to use MBR or GPT. So it is not decided now here that it is GPR, it is a MBR or GPT. So initializing the disk means we have to decide whether we want to use GPT or MBR. So I will right click on it and then I will say initialize. So when I select initialize, it shows the disk name here, that disk 1 is there, and by default it is selecting GPT. Now why it is selecting GPT? Because it says my Windows, this operating system thinks that the operating system is already installed on this disk, so this disk must be for data. So it is by default selecting MBR, but we can choose to select MBR or we can select GPT. But there is a note there, it says the GPT partitioning style is not recognized by all previous versions of Windows. So if you select the GPT, so it might not be acceptable in previous versions. So you have to be careful, like what you have to do, like this operating system or this machine you want to combine with this the hard disk, you want to use the hard disk into other machines also. First let's say MBR. I will use MBR now. Now it is showing MBR here, where you can see this here. If you right click here and you go to properties, so here Under the volume tab, it shows that what is the type of this hard disk. It is saying the partition style is master boot record. It is the full form of MBR. So here you will see that this is MBR. And right now the disk is on basic. It is a basic disk. It is online. This is the size and capacity. So everything it is showing here. Then in MBR, what we can do, we can create only 4 partitions. Remember, only 4 primary partitions. Let's start creating here first. New simple volume. I will create a partition of 1 GB. Drive letter E, NTFS, quick format, and next and finish. Okay, so one partition of 1 GB is created, and it is, we can see the color, it is actually a primary partition. Now this is unallocated space. I will select this and try to create one more partition. 1 GB, drive letter, NTFS, and finish. Okay, one more partition I created, and that is also primary. If you can see, this is also primary. Now one more. 1 GB, next, drive letter, NTFS, and also one more. Now 3 primary partitions are already created. 3 primary partitions are already created, and if I create the new partition now, remember 3 primaries are already created, and I am going to create one more partition for 1 GB. Now remember, this MBR only supports 4 primary partitions. That means this 1, 2 and 3 is already created, and if I create one more partition of 1 GB, so under this 57 GB I will use 1 GB and 56 GB will be remaining. Now 56 GB will be remaining, and if I create this 1 GB partition as a primary partition, then all that 56 GB is now useless. That means I will not be able to use that 56 GB, because when I try to use it, when I try to create a partition, it will say that you cannot create any more partition because 4 primary partitions are already created. But for that reason, in this graphical disk management, when you try to do this, when you try to create the 4th partition, what it will do in MBR file, in MBR partitioning style, what it will do, it will create the 4th partition under the extended. It will directly automatically it will do what? It will create the extended partition with all the remaining space. So you can see the color here, this color for the extended partition, and it is created for the all remaining space of 57 GB. And then in that extended partition, it has created one logical drive of 1 GB. And we can see the color here, and this is what the logical drive. And then under that extended partition we have 56 GB remaining, and we can use this 56 GB to create the logical drives. Now we can create n numbers of logical drives. So this scenario, this thing is available in MBR so that we can create more than 4 partition. But basically it is only 4 partition. If you see, this is primary 1, primary 2, primary 3, and the 4th one is extended. So basically only 4 partition is created, but under the extended partition we can create the logical drives. We cannot use the extended partition, we can only use the logical drives of that extended partition. And we can create, in this free space we can create how many we want. So we don't, it is like we can create whatever partition we want, how much partition we want. Now it is n numbers of logical drives we can create here. And you can see I've created 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but 3 is primary and 3 is what the logical drives. But in the computer, in this PC, when you go here, you will see them like this, and it looks like a partition here. So you cannot differentiate between these partitions, that these partitions are primary and these partitions are the logical drives under the extended partition. They all look similar. Now this is what the limitation of MBR. Now I will delete all this, delete the volume, delete the volume, delete the volume, and delete this extended partition. Then I will delete this extended partition also, these primary partitions. And this one also. Now this one is what? MBR. Now what I will do, I will right click on this, and what I can do, I can convert it into GPT. Now I can convert this normal disk into GPT. So what I will do, I will select this GPT. Now this disk become GPT. So when I click here and go to property and check the volumes, now it is saying that this is GPT partitioning style. GPT means GUID partitioning table. Now under the GPT, we can create 128 primary drives. There is no requirement here for extended and logical drives. Let's see that. I will create one. This is one. Then I will create one more. Then we'll create one more. Now 3 primary partitions are created. Now if I create one more, then it will be also primary, and one more, then it will be also primary. So I can create up to 128 primary partition without requiring any extended partition and logical drives inside the extended partitions, because now it is the GPT, it is a GPT partitioning style. So new more, one GB, and you can see the 4th one is also primary. And if I create the 5th one, this one is also primary. And this one is also primary. So we create 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 partitions of primary, all the primary partitions, and we can create up to 128 primary partitions, because now we are using GPT partitioning style. Now I will delete these all. Now I deleted all. Now what happened if this partition, this hard disk is on MBR partitioning style, and we create 4 primary partitions. Now remember, this GUI tool, this graphical disk management tool, is not allowing us to create 4 primary partitions. So we can do that from command line tools. We can do that from command line. We can do it from command line, that we can create 4 primary partitions. So we can do this from command line. So first what I will do, I will start the CMD first, and I will run CMD as administrator. Now here under the CMD, under the command line, we have a tool called disk part. So by giving the command disk part, let me increase the font a little. By giving the disk part command, we will start the tool here. Now we are under the disk part tool. Now here the commands, whatever command we give, the commands are for disk part. Now first I will list disk. So it is showing what, that these two disks we have. We have disk number 1, disk 0 of 100 GB, and this available size is this, and it is not a dynamic disk, and also it is what, GPT. Star is that it is indicating that this is by default GPT. This is where our operating system is installed. And remember what I said, when we are having Windows 10 64-bit or we are having Server 2016 installed in UEFI firmware, UEFI BIOS, then only it do what, it install the operating system in GPT. Otherwise, if you are using 32-bit version of Windows 10 or you are using not supported UEFI firmware, then it will do what, it will install it on MBR. Even in Windows 8 also, whether you do any, you have UEFI, you install 64-bit, in all those way it will install the operating system in MBR. But right now this operating system Server 2016 is installed on GPT because it is fulfilling the requirement is for the 64-bit operating system, requirement is for the UEFI firmware, so it is already there, and because of that it is installed in GPT. Now this one is also GPT because we have converted into GPT. Now I want to convert back into MBR. So what I will do first, I will select the disk first. So I will say select disk 1. Now it says that disk 1 is now selected. To verify, I will check the list disk, and we can verify by this star here. Remember to verify because in command line you don't know what you are doing, so you can do something, you can format or you can delete some other partition or other disk also. So you have to be careful that what you are doing. In graphical, you know what you see what you are doing, so you can say okay, but here it is not showing that what disk is selected. So here it is, you can guess, you can verify that disk 1 is selected. Now what I will do, I will run command clean. Now it says what, it is cleaning the disk. Now when you check the list disk command, now you can see it is now removed, the GPT is removed, and that means what, it is goes back to it is actually goes back to raw. You can see now here it says not initialized. Now it is saying not initialized. Remember, in this graphical tool we don't have option to change from GPT to MBR. Okay, we have option here also. Let me show you this. I will initialize here with MBR. So from graphical, what you can do, you can right click and you can have option to convert GPT, and when you convert it, then you have option to convert to MBR also. So whatever you want, you can convert it like this. And in command line, you will run the command clean. It will do what? It will remove the partitioning style from it. And then you can run the command initialize to initialize the disk again and again to go back to GPT. Now let's say, okay, it is now selected disk 1 and right now it is on MBR. And what I said, I can create 4 partitions of primary, only 4 partitions of primary, and I can do that by using this command line tool because graphical was not allowing us. So what I will do, for creating the new partition from here, I will give command create partition, and that is primary, and the size, so I will say size is equal to 1000 MB. And now it says it is created. Now to check whether it is created or not, we can say list, let's say partitions. So it is showing there is one primary partition of 1 GB, and we can also verify it from here, and we can see it is created. Now right now it is saying raw partition because it is not having any file system, and also it is not having any drive letter. So what we should do here, first I will assign the letter first, and let's say I will assign G. Oops, sorry, spelling mistake. Not a spelling mistake. First we have to select the partition here. So the partition, we have this partition 1. So first I have to select the partition, select partition 1, and then we can assign the letter G. Again I have a spelling mistake now, and that is this, and it is now assigned. And we can see that here under the disk management, we can see it is. Now we have to format this also. So for formatting, we will use the command format with the file system is equal to whatever file system we want. And now it is formatted also. We did created one partition, one primary partition of 1 GB. Now as I said here, we can create primary partitions, all 4 primary partitions from command line. So what I will do here, I will create more partitions here. So the disk is already selected. We can check or we can verify it. So disk is already selected. Now what I will do, I will create one more partition of 1 GB. We can check the partitions by list partitions. Now we have 2 partitions. Now what I will do, I will select the partition, select the partition number 2, and then I will assign the drive letter to it. Assign drive letter H, and then I will format it with NTFS file system. Now 2 partitions are created. Now I am going to create the third. Then I will format it with the file system, and then I will assign drive letter also. So this time I will assign GH, I will assign K. So what 3 partitions of primary I have created. Now remember, when we create this from the graphical tool, it will not allow us to create primary, it will directly create what extended. Now from here, from the command line, I will create one more partition of primary, and it is created, and I will format with this file system, and I will assign, and then I will assign the drive letter L. Now 4 partitions I have created. And you can see this GHKL of 1 GB each. Now I will open the disk management. We can right click on this window to open the disk management also. Now what we are seeing here is 4 primary partition under the MBR. Now this remaining space is 56 GB and we are not able to use this remaining space. Whether I try to create it from graphical or command line. If I try it from here, it gives error here. It gives error that you can't create it. And if I try to create it from command line, again I will get the error. And what error it is saying, that no usable free extent could be found. It may be that there is insufficient free space to create the primary partition. Now it is saying insufficient, but we know that there is a 56 GB available. But because of this MBR, we are not able to create the fifth one as a primary. Not even an extended. We can only create extended within this 4 limit, within the limit of these 4 partitions. Now what I will do, I will convert this disk into dynamic. Right now is a basic disk. Now you see the disk difference of dynamic. I will right click here and I will convert it into dynamic. Yes. Now the colors are changed here. The colors are changed and these primary partitions are now called simple volumes. And now what is the difference here? Now still it is MBR. If you check the properties, still it is MBR. It is not changed to GPT. But this is what dynamic, and this dynamic thing is only Windows specific. It is not supported in any other operating system. Now what if I try to create the new volume now? Remember, it is MBR and we can create only 4 primary partitions. Now I am trying to create new. And it is allowing me to create here. Now actually when you convert the disk from basic to dynamic, so you actually cross the limit of that 4 primary partitions. You can create now more than 4 partitions without converting into GPT. So under the dynamic disk we can create more partitions, because now it is still in MBR but it is now dynamic disk. And under the dynamic disk we can create volumes, and we can create multiple volumes. And also we can create different type of volumes. Those different type of volumes, that means these volumes: span volume, strip volume, mirror volume and red 5 volumes. All these other advanced volumes we can only create from dynamic disk. So all those we can create with this dynamic volume. Now next is this VHD, using .VHD or VHDX file types. Now this VHD is what? It is a virtual hard disk, and these virtual hard disk are files that you can use the same as physical hard disk also. These virtual hard disks are used for virtual machines. In Windows, Microsoft Windows, we have Hyper-V as a virtualization platform. We have Hyper-V. In Hyper-V we can create virtual machines, and for those virtual machines we can create virtual disk. Now virtual disk is just as a file, and also that virtual disk we can use as a real disk in our physical machine also. So just like the real hard disk, we can use these virtual disks also. You can do what? You can create and manage virtual hard disk by using the disk management and disk part also. You can configure VHD or VHDX files. Now VHD is in old format and VHDX is the new format. In VHD you have limitation of size. In VHD you have more size than VHD. In VHDX you have more size than VHD, but VHDX is not supported in old versions. Old versions, like if you want to use it on Windows 8 Server 2008 or Windows 7 and old ones, then it is not supported there. In that you have VHD only. In Windows 10 Server 2016 it is VHDX. Then configure computers to start from the virtual hard disk also. That means we can configure this virtual hard disk and we can configure it to boot from this hard disk also. So our operating system can be boot from the virtual disk also. Operating system for the real machine. We can transfer virtual hard disk from Hyper-V servers and start computers from the virtual hard disk. So we can use this. This is actually for the virtual machines. So we can transfer it from one machine to other machine also. We can use it to start the machine. Then use the virtual hard disk as a deployment technology also. That we can use one hard disk, we can install one virtual machine with an operating system, and then we can use it to deploy other machines also. It is just like copy paste. Copy paste we can do. Okay, this one we converted into dynamic. Now remember, when it is dynamic, if I try to convert back into basic, it is not available. There is no option available here. I will not able to do it for the basic. It is not convertible to GPT, not to MBR, nothing. We can't do it anything. What we have to do, we have to remove all the partitions. Delete. And you saw when it was basic and with the partitions, and when the partitions are there, maybe the data will be also there. So easily I converted into dynamic without losing any partition, without losing any data. So easily we can do convert it into dynamic without losing any data. But when we want to convert this back to basic, it is not possible. We have to remove all the partitions, and we can see that automatically it goes back to basic. Now for virtual disk we can create with Hyper-V. If you install and configure the Hyper-V virtual machine for creating virtual machine, so when we create the virtual machine, we can create the virtual disk also. But we can also create virtual disk for our physical machine, and we can do it from this server disk, from this disk management. We can go to action here, and in action we have option to create the VHD. So when I select create VHD, it gives me this option that where you want to create, because basically it's a file. So it is asking me that where in your system you want to create this, because it is going to take the space from that partition where you create it. So I will go for this first, browse, and we have only one partition right now. I have this C drive. So under the C drive I will create one folder for that. This will be my VHDs. So under this I'm going to create a disk, and it is asking me for the name, what name you want to create. So let's say I will create the name of this will be vdisk1, and here also I have an option to select VHD and VHDX, or for both. I will go for we can select it from there also. I just select the path and the name of the file. So this will be the path and name of the file, and you can see it is selected by default VHD. Now why it is selecting by default VHD? Because VHD is supported in all the other operating systems. In 2016 also, in 2012, 2008 servers, all those servers it will support. In Windows 10, Windows 8, Windows 7, In all those operating system it will support. So by default it uses VHD. Now here it is asking what is the size for your disk in MB, in GB, in TB. So I will go for 1 GB here, or let's say I will go for 10 GB. Now here it is selected by default VHD. It supports virtual disk up to 2040 GB in size. It is actually 2 TB. So we can create maximum up to 2 TB of virtual disk with VHD. But when I select VHD X, so you can see here the format, the extension is changed to VHD X. Now this supports virtual disk larger than this 2040 GB in size. It supported maximum of 64 TB and is resilient to power failure events. That means if the power failure event happens, then the size, this hard disk, this virtual disk is less chances of going corrupt. Then this format is not supported in operating system earlier than Windows 8 or Server 2012. This is the only problem with this VHDX, that it is not supported then in the old versions, like it is not supported in Windows Server 2012, 2008, and also not supported in Windows 7 operating system or any earlier operating system. And also we have this option here available, these two options, virtual disk type, fixed size or dynamically expanding, that is recommended here for VHDX. And if you select VHD, it is recommended to use the fixed size. But what is the difference between these two? First, when you use the fixed size, that means the virtual hard disk file is allocated to its maximum size when the virtual disk is created. So when it is created, so I am saying 10 GB, so it will take the whole 10 GB from this C drive where I am creating this virtual disk. And when I select dynamically expanding, so what it will do, it will not select the whole size, it will grow to its maximum size as data written to the hard disk. So it will not use the whole 10 GB from the C drive where I am creating it. It will grow according to the size. Like when I install, when I put some size, when I put some data into the disk, it will keep grow. It will keep grow till the maximum size which we have selected, 10 GB. So you can decide what type you want. You can decide what you want, dynamically expanded or you want the fixed size. Right now if you see, my C drive is having 99 GB and it is available free space for the C drive is what, 85 GB. So if I select the fixed size, then what it will do, it will reduce the 10 GB from it directly. But I will select dynamically expanding here and I will create it. Now the disk is created here and we can see the disk here under this disk management. It is a disk number 2. This disk number 1 is the physical disk, this one is a virtual disk, but does not look different. It looks like the physical disk, and we can use this as a physical disk, and we can do all those things what we can do with the physical disk. We can initialize it. We can initialize it with GPT, MBR, whatever we want. Then we can create the partitions also, like we did in normal partition, normal hard disk. So it is a virtual disk, but it is looking like a real disk, and you can see it is here under this PC here also. But actually where it is, whatever the data we store into this hard disk, this partition, where it will go to C drive, and the directory we created this, and under the directory you can see the file name here, and the icon suggests that this is the virtual disk file. It is not showing the format, but when you go to the properties, you will see that this is the VHD, it is a directory property. it says that this is the hard disk image file, that is .vhdx file. And right now the size is what? Only 132 MB. We have given the limit of 10 GB, but right now it is only 132 MB used. So it is because it is a dynamically extended. So when we use to create the new size, when you store the size, when you store the data into it, it will start growing. And where we will put the data? We will put the data here under this partition. And when we put the data here, it is going to be added into this virtual disk, and it will start grow. It will grow up to 10 GB. Now if you want to, when you right click on it, you have this option to detach. This option you will not get it on real disk, physical disk. Now detach means what? If you don't need it, then you can remove it from this server manager, and also it will not show up here under this PC because I have detached it. But it is not deleting it, it is actually there, it remains there as a file, and whatever the data we store in this, it will also remain there. Now we can install these in this hard disk. We can install operating system, we can install all the roles and features also, because in server manager when we go and install any roles and feature, so it gives us option to select the disk also. Here it is saying that select the servers, and here it is asking us to select the virtual disk. You can browse and select the virtual disk. And on this disk we can install the roles. Now for installing the roles, first the disk contain the operating system also. If this disk is having the operating system installed like Server 2016, then we can use it to install the roles also, roles and features. And where we get the operating system, like we can use this disk as a virtual disk for the virtual machine, and then we can install the operating system into it. So we can use it for that also. Now if we want to connect again, so I'll go to action and I will select attach, and I will browse that disk and select it, and now it is attached again. And when it is attached again, then it will be available here under this disk management also, and also under this PC. And we can see this also, and we can now use it. And also we can do what? We can install operating system into it, and we can make our system multi-boot operating system, multi-boot machine also. Like in this C drive we have different operating system, and in this drive we have different operating system. So we have an option, we can install operating system into it also. So this is the virtual disk, how we can create it from the disk management. Even we can create it from the diskpart command line tool also. And also we can use it to store data, we can use it for the real machine. And also what we can do, we can use it for booting the system, booting the real physical computer also. For that we have to install the operating system into it. Now how it is going to be installed, the operating system, we will see in the next time. We will see the next time that how we can install operating system into the virtual disk, and also how we can boot it from this virtual disk, how we can boot the real machine from it. So that we will see next time.